Critical Role Recap, Season 2, Episode 11. So it was a pretty slow episode. There was no combat in this episode again, and so if you're looking for combat, this is a good one to skip. However, there was a fair amount of character development and also a lot of humorous moments. But they started off the episode by just going back to the inn and going to bed, basically. But then that night, in the middle of the night, Yasha got autopiloted by Matt for just a little bit. And she just kind of disappeared in the middle of the night during a thunderstorm, very mysteriously again. That morning, Caleb brought Frumpkin back again, but this time with 3 health instead of just 1. So hopefully Frumpkin won't get punted into oblivion by a random guard. So then later that day, they broke up into 2 groups. Ford, Knot, and Molly went to see Pumat Sol, while Jester, Bo, and Caleb went to the Tri-Spire, to the Fancy District. While at Pumat Sol's The Invulnerable Vagrant shop, Ford got the enchantment transferred from his mariner's armor, the intricate sea-themed looking armor, over to just his kind of standard breastplate that he had been wearing. And he also bought a healing potion, which cost him 130 gold total. And then Molly found a necklace that I think it stops you from bleeding out. So maybe something to do with death saving rolls. I'm not entirely sure on that. But I do know that it gives you double healing from hit dice during your rests. And he picked that up for 150 gold from Pumat Sol. The other party, meanwhile, Caleb finally made his way into the Silken Terrace, where he used the new cloak that he had picked up and a little bit of help from Jester to get past the guards and finally make it into the Fancy District. And so the 3 of them, Jester, Caleb, and Bo, went to check out the porn shop that they had been wanting to get to find some educational material. Jester ends up buying a banned book, which was like a historical fiction smut book. And then throughout the episode, Caleb and Bo both end up reading it. And they don't really, not much comes from it. They don't really find out anything of terrible import from it. They go back to the inn, and Ford, Bo, and Knot go to kind of scout out the area in preparation for this meeting that they're going to have at midnight with the Knights of Requital. So they go around to the back of the inn and they look for a back entrance to the cellar that the meeting's going to be in. But they end up finding a completely separate cellar. And with not picking the lock, they get into the cellar and check it out for a little bit. They find an old skeleton, like a dead person had been stuffed in a corner behind some crates. And they don't really learn anything much about it. They just kind of found the skeleton and that was it. So they left the cellar and chained it back up and put the lock on, but didn't affix the lock completely. So we're not really sure what's going on with that or if it will come up again. The Mighty Nine then met up with the schemers under the inn, and they learned about this convoluted plot that the Knights of Requital have to try and take a couple people out of the local hierarchy and install one of their own members. Ford makes a few suggestions to kind of modify the plan and make it a little less convoluted, which they like his ideas. They decide to basically go into one of the local underlings of the Lawmaster, toss the place, and leave behind some evidence that suggests that this person, to make it look like she's heading this revolutionary group and is in charge of. That night, Ford and Molly set a trap for Knot to catch Knot in the act of going through Ford's stuff. And they managed to catch her in the act, and Molly cast a charm spell on Knot. And so with that, Knot reveals that she wants to get the letter for the Soltris Academy and give it to Caleb. And she reveals that she wants that because she wants Caleb to learn magic, to become more powerful, to help protect her, showing that she feels threatened and feels like she needs this protection, that she needs this help from Caleb. The Mighty Nine then go into the sewers again in order to sneak into the Tri-Spire, and they use some spells and disguises to make themselves look like rich fancy folk as they emerge from the sewers. And they do this in order to go talk to this person that the Knights of Requital are trying to oust, in order to find out, basically, because they don't know if the Knights of Requital are the good guys or the bad guys in this situation. So they go see for themselves this person that they're saying, that the Knights of Requital are saying are corrupt. They're going to try and see if this person deserves to be ousted. And basically, she says that the only thing puppies are good for is for feeding older dogs, and she's also racist. So they kind of decide that yeah, maybe it would be okay to oust this chick. We're definitely not big fans of her. So then they meet up again, and they're offered about 700 gold by the Knights of Requital in exchange for this plan for going and sneaking into the manor and leaving behind these documents. That's pretty much all that happened this episode. There wasn't a lot going on. It was more setup for the next episode, where we'll have a little like sneaky covert ops mission going into the manor and planting some documents. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Next episode should be pretty interesting. Should have a lot more plot development than this one did. But overall, it was still funny. It was definitely entertaining. But like I said, there was no combat. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.